All right, how's that? Can you guys hear me at least? Hey bud, how are you doing? All right, cool. So, can you get, all right, cool, you can hear me. Sweet, so I apologize for the tilted video here. As I was just saying, I'm literally like supporting this thing on clamps. I'll take a picture of it later because it's ridiculous. But I didn't want to not broadcast. So this isn't going to be like a super long one, but I did want to make sure I could like test this out because I'd like to do more of these in the future. And you know, the microphone makes a big difference, I'm sure. I do have my oak cross here. I tried to get my DSLR to work, but I don't think it's equipped to do live broadcasts. So, you know, I have an idea. I'm going to go off camera for just a sec, but don't mind me. I want to try to get rid of that angle thing. So this might be a terrible idea. All right. So that's a lot better. I'm very high quality. I've got, yeah, all right, cool. So very high quality here. I stuffed a couple of magazines underneath the chair. All right, I think I need a drink. So I know at least one of you guys bought some of this oak cross. Yeah, so this was a gift from my parents for my birthday, actually. So this is the oak cross. This is actually going to be my next review on my channel coming out on July 1st. So if anybody's interested in buying this and drinking along with the actual video, now you know what I'm drinking. So, all right. So, how's everybody doing? Or I should say, what are you drinking tonight? Probably a better question. Well, while I'm waiting for you guys to respond, oh, here we go. All right, so coffee, Nolan. All right, so just since there's only a few of you guys on here, so there's this podcast I listen to, so I'm a gamer, and there's this podcast I listen to called New Game Plus podcast, and it's awesome. So if anybody's interested in games, by all means, check them out. So Glenlivet 15 year French oak, nice. Actually, that's going to be very similar to what I've got. So check this out. So this is a blend from like just regular American oak barrels and French. Sorry, it's very distracting doing a live stream. I like it because we can, you know, chat, but I'm not used to it. I gotta get used to this. So anyway, so here's a whiskey, and I had a heck of a day, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes here. So anyway, cheers to any of you drinking out there. I cannot wait to do a review on this thing. I'll probably film maybe like about a week or so from now. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about this whiskey just since we're talking about it. So I've actually got kind of like a communication thing going on with Compass Box, you know, emailing back and forth and stuff. I've gotten in touch with their, I guess you'd call it like their social media expert or whatever, but they, she told me that not only is this her favorite whiskey, but also like, not the owner, but it was like their general sales manager. It's his favorite whiskey, it's her favorite whiskey, and like a number of other people at the company. It's not a huge company, but they produce a lot of really quality stuff, so it's pretty cool to hear that. Anyway, so saw somebody's drinking Macallan 12 out there, or no, it was 15 with the oak. So how is that? Oh, so speaking of my parents who got me this bottle, my dad just hopped in. So anyway, hey Dad, aren't you proud watching your son drink on camera? I know, I would be. So I definitely wanted to try this out. So as I was mentioning, so this, for those of you that didn't catch this, so my camera is set up on actual woodworking clamps at the moment because although I have tripod, as you can see, my nice light that's totally in frame here. Who cares, whatever. Actually, that looks terrible. It's kind of shadow over here. Anyway, I just could not for the life of me figure this out. That's why I had the technical difficulties. It was me trying to balance stuff so that I could actually have a camera on me that didn't look terrible. So right now you're just gonna have to settle for at least I have a decent mic plugged in. But all right, so this is what I wanted to do with this live stream, because it's good to have an idea, even though I kind of want you guys to maybe Q&A would be awesome or whatever, but in general, like, let's chat about something. But I want to thanks Nolan, says I'm a regular MacGyver. So I'm about to crack open this bottle. My wife made me give her the box. Hold on one second, because I can't barely read that, but I have my laptop here, and I think it will make it a lot easier for me to read these comments. Sorry, I know this is like totally unprofessional here, but as I mentioned, I'm fairly new at this, so I'm just getting used to it. I think I need some new stuff too. I think I need some new equipment, better computer, so I can do like a better live stream. All right, so there we go. So amped about to crack this bottle, and my wife made me give her the box. All right, cool. Thanks, Daniel. All right, now that I've got this all figured out. So I've never had Buchanan's Deluxe 12. What can you tell me a little bit about it? It sounds like it's going to be a Scotch, but extra. Ashton, I'm assuming you're serious, but I'm going to take that as a joke. He says I'm extra professional for an early run. Oh man, all right. So let me also get this out of there. So I have a Discord channel, which I just started up because I'm lame. I called it Whiscord because why not? So if you check the description in any of my videos, you'll find the link over to it. But basically what it is it's a fairly lightweight chat client that you can either use on your computer or your phone or both. And we can just kind of chat, talk about whatever whiskey, or I've got like just a general chat channel in there as well. Now the video should be coming through. Not seeing any video. I miss it, or are we watching? Waiting to start. So PC Shogun, it should be going. I'm not sure, although to be honest, I just started up to here and I don't see it going. I mean, the rest of you guys are seeing it, so I don't know. Maybe try refreshing your page, whatever. So join Whiscord. Join the Discord channel. Because then we can chat during the week and we can kind of talk, and I can let you guys all know what I'm going to be reviewing soon. You can suggest things, without getting too much detail. The YouTube channel has actually been doing really well lately, and it's been making enough money for me to kind of buy some whiskey. So I wouldn't mind doing more reviews. I mean, that was one of the things I kind of mentioned early on, like, $50 a pop, $60, $100 a pop. It gets pretty expensive to buy a bottle a month. Or a couple bottles a month. So I would like to do more now that the YouTube channel's kind of taken off a little bit. But I need suggestions. So although the comments on the YouTube channel is actually probably the best thing for my channel, it's more fun to talk in a Discord channel. So if you're interested, follow one of the links. Let's see. So I'm still kind of waiting to hear some of you guys tell me what you're drinking tonight. Jim Beam. Yeah, I'm waiting to do Jim Beam actually. Not for anything in particular, just more like that is, I want to make sure I'm on my game for that, because that's one of those things that's going to, I think, probably get a lot of traffic to the channel. I've actually got a ton of traffic on that Maker's Mark one, which makes a lot of sense because it's pretty popular. Anyway, Wild Turkey Rye. Actually, speaking of rye, excuse me, rye. Has anybody tried the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye? I'm really looking forward to that. I got your, I mean, it depends on what you mean by got your message, Mark. Woodford Reserve, I do have, that was actually, I think that was episode maybe like 7 or 8. I did that really early on. I actually did the Woodford Reserve, regular Distiller Select, and then I did the Double Oak, and I did the rye. So check that one out. Although don't judge me on my poor lighting. You have a, oh, okay. Awesome. So Mark says he has a bottle unopened for me. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, I will be PMing you, Mark, and I will probably circumvent. I'll do this one on July, but I'll probably do a special episode on that. So anyway, Mark is offering me a bottle of whiskey, and pretty nice one at that. So awesome. Oh man. All right, so sorry, Mark. Yeah, I'll PM you after this thing. Anyway, let's see what else. So just let me talk about this. So I had my Wednesdays are pretty rough as far as meetings go, right? So I'm a tech guy and I'm a manager of other tech guys and girls. And my day ends up being 100% meetings from like 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So it's a really rough Wednesday. And actually my Thursday is not much better. I think I get a half hour in there somewhere for myself. But here's a cool thing. So this weekend, I'm actually going to be taking a trip up to Maine. And there is a whiskey up there called Wiggly Bridge. It's a distiller. It's a very small distillery. And they actually won an award this year. I think I might have mentioned them in the previous live stream, but I'm gonna go talk to the guy. So I talked to him last year and I basically said, you know, hey, I would like to come do an actual formal interview of you and your whiskey and check out your shop and do all this stuff. How about the light blue label and yellow of Oak Cross? Very artsy, goes with there. Yeah. Actually, you know, for anybody, I don't know if my lighting's going to work very well here. As you can see, my lighting is terrible. I was actually, I'm not even going to attempt to touch that camera because it's going to fall. But my normal setup that you see in all my videos, that was what I had. And I had my DSLR, I have a Nikon D3200, and I realize I'm totally tangenting here. I had everything set up and it was perfect. It was like 8:53 and I was ready to go. And then it just totally didn't work. And I have no idea why. So anyway, I'm going to figure that out. Maybe the camera just can't handle it. I'm not sure. Everything I see, basically the D3200 can't do it. Anyway, so let me see. Maybe does this come better out, or it's probably better like not getting the light in it. So anyway, it's a cool box. Basically, they talk about how they married. Whatever. That's boring. It just talks about that they take one whiskey from oak and American oak, put it into French oak. It is blue. It's it's like that dress. It's got the blue and the gold. Anyway, so it's a pretty cool thing. So actually, man, I'm on like 7 different tangents deep right now. So I'm going up to Maine, and the guy that I talked to at Wiggly Bridge, he told me that he would let me actually do like a formal interview of him and kind of talk about it and basically do like a full-on like, hey, here's my distillery, let's talk about it. And I'm not quite set up yet as far as like, you know, I need wireless mics, I need, you know, probably, my camera's fine, but figuring out the lighting and just in general, figuring out how to conduct an interview, which that shouldn't be too hard. I can usually wing that kind of stuff, but anyway, I mentioned, I think it was like January or February when I was talking about how the channel was a couple years old. I mentioned that I wanted to actually do interviews of people at their distilleries, and he was kind of going to be the first one, probably still is, but that probably won't happen, at least for another month or two. I'll most likely want to get him in the off season because, you know, during the summer, you know, he's got a ton of foot traffic coming in his door, and it's actually really cool. You know, trying the whiskey itself, it's unique. I don't actually, you know, that's a good question. So this whiskey, as I mentioned, it won an award in America. Like it's like apparently a known whiskey. Have any of you seen Wiggly Bridge whiskey? It's a bourbon in your local stores at all? I don't know if my microphone cable will reach, but bear with me for 1 sec here. I'm going to attempt. There we go. Cool. So this is Wiggly Bridge, and yeah, it's kind of a cool looking bottle. But anyway, actually, that's the bottle I think is what they won the award for. So anyway, look for that coming. That'll be fun. I think, Mark, you said that you had bought a bottle of Oak Cross, or you said your wife got it. Are you drinking it right now? It is medicine bottle-esque, which is kind of ironic because, you know, they call it, what do they call it, Grandpa's old cough syrup or something like that. So it works. but I don't know. I know nothing about glass making, but it looks unique as far as a lot of the bottles I've seen. So anyway, I'm mostly just enjoying a drink at the end of the day because today was just mind-numbing. Yeah, all right, let me, hold on. All right, that probably helps quite a bit, I hope. Did that make it any better? Let's see. No, it didn't really make it better. Oh, that's a great question. So I drink a lot of beer, and that's not, don't take that in a alcoholic way, but more just, I drink many different types of beer. I actually love, oh, you, you meant the flavor. Should I turn the light back on? I actually, yeah, what I need to do is put a light over here, but whatever. Anyway, I drink a lot of beers. I like every kind of beer. I like less so hoppy beer, and mostly because it's, I don't know, maybe call me a hipster, but it's like so popular that everybody does hoppy beer and I'm just kind of hopped out. So what I really like Boston Lager, you know, Sam Adams, that's like my go-to, just default. I have probably a whole case in the fridge right now, minus a couple bottles. And, but you name it and I'll try it. I especially really like Kentucky bourbon. It's better without the light. All right, good. The beer dictionary. I've considered it. I personally just don't know enough about beer, but what I've actually been wanting to do with this channel, and part of it was me waiting till I had enough subscribers, because now, now that I'm over 2,000, it might seem odd, but it actually like really opens up a lot of options to me. Typically, once you hit 1,000 subscribers, and actually this is just fun to talk about because I've been just doing a ton of research on YouTube, but now that after you hit 1,000 subscribers, you enter like kind of a different level in YouTube. You know, basically anybody under 100 subscribers is considered just a typical user. You know, like your dad that wants to take a picture or a video and send it to you easily. But once you hit 1,000, I think it's called like Opal or something. That YouTube does their levels based on different gems. So Opal is the first one, and then that's from 1 to 10,000. Yeah, like UPC. And I keep getting off track. Once you hit 1,000, you kind of get opened up to collaborating with a lot of other people. Most channels won't even really look at somebody who's under 1,000 subscribers because it's fairly easy to get like a couple hundred subscribers if you put any effort into it. But now that I'm at 2, that actually more opens me up to potential to do like, kind of want to do like a network of, you know, for, let's just call it something easy, like the beer dictionary or the rum dictionary, or basically I more just want to find people who specialize in that kind of thing who only have a couple thousand subscribers, kind of do like a network thing. That way we can all share subscribers across our channels and hopefully blow up. It's something I used to do actually a long time ago. Some of you probably can relate to this. I used to play World of Warcraft, right? Did any of you guys ever play World of Warcraft? I would guess so. Rum Dictionary. Yeah, Rum Dictionary would actually be fun, and actually that would probably be if I were going to do personally another channel, that would probably be it, because I think that you could probably find some interesting stories about rum, which is why I did whiskey, because whiskey tends to have some sort of story or lore or something behind the brand. Anyway, so World of Warcraft, I used to play way too much, and actually, because as I said, I'm an engineer, software engineer specifically, I made a website that was like super popular. Actually, it ended up being one of Blizzard, who's the company that runs it, their like official website. All right, never mind. You guys don't care about this. Let's talk about you know a rum expert. Who's that, Dad? So, anyway, my dad is funny. He's a good guy. So. Anyway, long story short, the website I was running was super popular, and I ended up getting a whole bunch of people together to write stuff. It was kind of treated as a blog with a lot of extra features. So I actually really liked that, running people all together and kind of having a schedule and holding people to writing. So it would actually be really fun to do a beer dictionary and a rum dictionary. And I could see that becoming kind of a branding thing. But yeah. Oh, you actually know a rum expert. Who's that, Dad? It's bourbon night. So it would be okay to collaborate with another whiskey channel, but that kind of seems self-defeating, especially because I do all the different kinds of whiskeys. I might shy away from a lot of Canadian whiskeys because generally they're not very good. But You know, usually it's, oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of funny. Anyway, so generally they're not very, what is it? Canadian whiskeys generally aren't very good. You know, they're allowed to put flavoring and just all kinds of stuff in their whiskeys. So actually, since I have kind of a bit of a brain trust here, does anybody know a decent Canadian whiskey other than 40 Creek that I could review? Because I would love to actually do more Canadian whiskeys. I just don't really know them very well. I mean, you could pretty much throw a dart at the wall and hit a Scotch that's good, but it's like Canadian whiskeys, I'm guessing anything decent is few and far between. Yeah, Crown Royal is actually going to be my very next, after this one. I think I'm doing Crown Royal. So Seagram's actually, like Seagram 7, that's going to be my following episode. Sorry, it's hard to read the chat and also talk. All right, so I'm doing the Oak Cross, then I'm doing Crown Royal, and then I'm probably going to do, what was it? I have several bottles. Probably Monkey Shoulder is going to be in there, and so is there's Whistle Pig Rye. So I know that those are coming up very soon. So if any of you have that, then make sure you don't finish your bottles. So actually, I'm curious. Do any of you actually buy the whiskey and then like drink it along with the video that you're watching? Because excuse me, I have some friends that come over and we actually all watch the video and drink the whiskey together, and it's pretty fun, especially because it's another couple, so my wife and I will drink with them, and you know, my wife isn't crazy about whiskey, and his wife isn't crazy about whiskey either. You can't buy whiskey at all. How old are you? Well, your last name is Childs, so I don't know. Ugh, that was a lame joke. You picked up Maker's 46 a month too late, huh? Well, that's okay. I mean, that's a solid whiskey though, man. My dad told me that I'm not allowed to finish that till he can come up and have some. Early birthday gift. Okay, nice, nice. Boy, that went away very quickly. I've only got like one sip left. I just might have to pour some of this Wiggly Bridge and give you guys a little sneak peek of that. So this was my Father's Day present. That's why I like your reviews. It lets me know what's good and what's not. Do you always drink your whiskey neat? I always drink my whiskey neat the first time. You know, I kind of went into this in the nosing and tasting videos, where it's like, you wouldn't go to somebody's house and have their food, or you know, some of you would, but like the polite thing to do would generally be have it the way that it's served and then adjust it with salt, pepper, whatever else you want after. But in general, you want to try something the way that the distiller told you that it should be done. Now there's going to be whiskeys like Booker's, right? So like 130 proof is ridiculous. That's there for the gimmick practically, but I will say that they do a heck of a job actually making it taste really good despite the amount of alcohol. But anyway, so I usually drink my whiskey neat. How does it taste? Yeah, exactly, Bradley. It's showing the whiskey respect, you know. It sounds a little lame, but if it's something that, I mean, any one of us, any hobby that you're into, you want to try to do it properly. You know, like some of the other hobbies I have, like I used to rock climb a lot. I know I totally look that way now, but you know, that's what two kids will do to you. But anyway, so like rock climbing, you know, I would want to do it right. I would be there a few times a week and I would be climbing all the time. But you know, if drinking whiskey is your thing, you want to do it properly. So actually something to talk about, like one of my early videos, I talked about whiskey rocks. Now whiskey rocks are fine. In fact, they're actually kind of like fun, you know, like it's interesting to think that the history of a whiskey rock was going out to a river that happened to be right next to your pub or bar or whatever, and putting those rocks into your whiskey to chill it. Like that's a cool thought, and I like the fact that whiskey rocks actually are rocks. They're not just like some sort of little, I don't know, like those cheap little plastic ice cubes that just don't actually melt. Now, that being said, you know, chilling your whiskey is going to kill the taste, but if you already know what the whiskey tastes like and you're not really drinking it for the taste, like the same reason that you drink a Bud Light, you know, like let's say you're just mowed the lawn, you know, a Bud Light is a great I just mowed the lawn beer. But you know, a lot of bourbons actually taste fine when you chill them. I would personally probably not really do it to a Scotch because Scotch is really all about the flavor, but bourbons tend to taste very similar. And If you want to drink a lot of bourbon, you know, maybe you chill it a little bit, or maybe you water it down. Anyway, so I'm thinking about doing another video actually specifically on whiskey rocks, because there's a few different types, and there's definitely more than what I gave credit for originally. So you're drinking on the rocks. Now, drinking on the rocks, like I said, is really just not a problem. You know, it's totally respectable, because, you know, not everybody drinks to get drunk. Like I'm not drinking to get drunk right now. May end up happening, but we'll see. I probably won't do this live stream for too much longer. I'd like to do this more, but I also don't want to just like sit here and just, you know, talk about nothing. So, all right, so there goes the oak cross. Now let me just kind of give you my. You're having an old fashioned, awesome, nice. I love old fashions, man. Old fashions and Manhattans. It's like the only. If I'm going to a bar, I'm typically drinking a beer, but a lot of times, like, people expect me to drink whiskey. You know, all my coworkers know that I am the whiskey dictionary, or the whiskey dick, I should say, which that always brings up interesting conversations. What's my views on gin? Gin, I am far from an expert on. At the moment, I think I have two different gins. I have Beefeater and Sapphire. And they're both fantastic, of course, but those are pretty decent gins too. So I've never really tried like rock gut gin, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, you know, thank you, PC Shogun. That's actually kind of exactly what I was going for. I would, in the future when I do this, I think it would be cool to have like another person or so with me and just kind of like chat with you guys and figure that all out. Hold on a sec. Man, a bar made me a bad old fashioned, and that turns me off to Maker's Mark. Oh, that's sad. Until I bought a pint to sample after watching your video, turning me back around. Wow. Maker's Mark should pay me. Yeah, Maker's is like, that's what you drink Manhattans and old fashions with, in my opinion. That or Woodford. I mean, there's probably other stuff that would be decent, but all right. I'm going to pour some of this Wiggly Bridge. Now, I will say that this Wiggly Bridge, if you end up having this has a weird taste to it, and it's kind of what makes it unique in my mind. I mean, you got to think about it. I run a YouTube channel about whiskey. I've tried a lot of whiskeys at this point. I mean, a lot more than I've done reviews on. But Wiggly Bridge has an interesting taste to it. It's almost like a little too alcohol, like ethanol, you know, right on the start, which isn't great, but the finish is kind of where this is decent. Yeah, I'll do a formal review of this probably in like a couple months or so, but let's see. Try Contracto Vermouth and Orange Bitters, awesome old fashioned. Yeah, my dad makes two things very well. He actually makes three things very well. He makes a great steak, ribeye steak. My bachelor party was probably the best steak I've ever had in my life. He makes a good drink, and apparently makes, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I was gonna say that too, and then I realized it was super lame. So he said Sons, but then I was, you know, whatever. All right, fine. I'm drinking whiskey now. All right, cheers. All right. So as I was saying, the initial taste that you get from this whiskey is a little bit of ethanol, but actually after having the first drink, which as I mentioned in other videos is almost a little bad if you're trying to taste something for real, because it totally dilutes the flavor. But in this case, that actually did it a favor, because I didn't love this the first time I tasted it, because it does just have too much of a not delicious alcohol, but like just pure ethanol. Almost like here's a good example. When you nose a whiskey that's too high in alcohol content, it doesn't smell very good. Like, it'll burn your nose, right? Imagine that as a flavor. And that's what this thing gives you right off the bat. But after you've dulled your taste buds a little bit, this thing actually has a beautiful rye flavor that comes out immediately, and it actually lingers on the tongue. It's kind of nice. All right, so anyway, let's see. How many different whiskeys do you drink in a night? Do you work up to a peat and call it a night? Oh my gosh. No, no, I don't. If I'm, so if I'm going to be having a whiskey, typically I'll stick to the same one, but a lot of times I won't have more than 2 different whiskeys in a night. And that is mostly because, you know, when I talk to my friends, I always refer to doing what I'm doing right now as researching for my next episode, which, you know, researching for my next episode basically just means sitting here and drinking. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, I drink at max 2 because I like to taste them and I like to think about what I'm going to be saying about it in my next episode. 5+ whiskeys. Now I might have 5+ whiskeys, but not different whiskeys. Rubber Band-Aid is not an exciting smell. You know, that's a fantastic I guess you'd call it an analogy, but that's a perfect tasting note and nosing note. I will absolutely remember that for a future video when I nose this. Actually, when you hear me say this about Wiggly Bridge, you can know that I'm quoting UPC. So, let's see. Have you ever thought about making your own whiskeys? Is it possible? I have totally thought about making my own whiskey, and I actually did an episode, no charge. I did an episode on gifts to get a whiskey drinker for Christmas, right? And one of those was kind of like a bourbon. It's a barrel that you can age your own whiskey, but that's aging somebody else's whiskey typically. Like you're taking, you know, like maybe you take this and you throw a little like French oak stave in there, or you, God forbid, add some flavoring to it and just let it sit. Don't do that. But that's like, I don't know, for the price that those are and the fact that it's really just like adding flavor to a pre-existing whiskey, it's not really making your own thing. Now, here's a story for you. So, hold on. They're inexpensive. Interesting. The ones that I found, they were like, they could be pretty expensive. Anyway, so here's a story. So I'm going to leave out some names. There was a person whose house I went to, and that person's house has what they call a tiki bar. And that's basically a hut in his front yard that has some alcohol in it, right? So he basically treats it like a bar, and that's actually a cool thing. I like that. He's got a copper still in there, but it's not like what you'd think. It's not huge. It's I don't know, probably half the size of this table if you can actually, I don't know, like that. And it has this one little tiny tube, and I think he purposely bent it to make it look kind of cool. It's like, you know, swirls around and everything. It's kind of like, what is it? I can't remember the whiskey that I reviewed, but they call it a, shoot, totally blanking on the name. There's a type of distilling that you can do where the new make, like the White Lightning, you know, the stuff that comes out before you age it, it actually coils around and it chills it while it's doing that, and it kind of brings down the temperature, and then it goes into wherever you're going to store it. And it tends to, Craig Ellachie, that's what it was. It tends to give it a sulfury flavor. Anyway, so this is what he had. He had this weird little thing, and it spun around, and then it came out, and all you had to do was open a little faucet, and it would, you know, he'd kind of boil it a little bit, but open this little faucet, and it comes out, and it's just pure white lightning. And it was good, but I was happy at that moment that alcohol is, what do you call it? Like self-cleaning, like you can't, it was a still, but it was like the smallest little still I've ever heard or ever seen. But everything was gross, like everything was dirty and whatever. So that's when I was happy that the alcohol was kind of like kill anything it would touch. So that helped. I drank it because I was being a respectable guest, but it was a little gross. So anyway, all right, so let me have another sip of this thing because I'm actually curious at how much the taste seemed to change. Yeah, that's actually getting more and more interesting the more I have. Kind of neat. Let's see. I too love drinking disinfectant at friends' houses. It's pretty much what it was. Oh man, all right. So anyway, let's see. Anything else interesting? Future review, Texas whiskey. It's one of our TX whiskey. I've never heard of that, Jace. Tell me about TX whiskey a little bit. I've never, like I said, never heard of it. Anyway, now that there's more of you in here, just one more thing. I want to mention the Discord channel one more time because that's kind of where I'm most accessible, and in general it's like fun. Like you see this complete mess of a setup that I have here. Next time I do one, it will look a little bit better. The lighting will actually not suck. I can see on my computer here that it's super grainy too, which, sorry. Till I get better equipment, I think that's probably going to be the case. Anyway, but yeah, so check out Discord. It's going to probably be the best way to get in touch with me and submit new ideas for stuff. All right, let's see. On that vein of drinking bad alcohol, do you review on some of these rapid age whiskeys? You may change your opinion on Johnnie Walker Red. Oh boy. I don't think anything could make me change my opinion of Johnnie Walker Red, but it might set a new standard for, you know, like low. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all for your equipment. Okay, that's good to know. Did I say? Yeah, it is a PC. Technically, it's it is a PC. It's a laptop, but it's terrible. I've had it for like 4 or 5 years, and actually, I'll probably get a new one this year, somewhere around Christmas time. I told my wife that she could not get me a Christmas present if I could buy myself a new computer. So. Yeah, this is getting better the more I drink it. I could see this becoming a kind of like a, I don't know that I would always keep this on hand, but this could be like a 1 or 2 bottle a year kind of whiskey, which for me that's pretty good. It's an excellent, maple flavor. Nah, but I believe it gets from their barrels. It's made from so it's not artificial maple flavor. That's good. No, I thought PC Shogun was going to set you off about Johnnie Walker Red. Yeah, no, I'm so you guys saw this in that video that I did with the nosing where I filmed a little bit in my truck, right? So I bought this tiny little bottle of Johnnie Walker Red that was, I think it was $7 or $8, and I basically just needed the bottle for any future jokes I want to make at Johnnie Walker Red's expense, and it's totally unopened. I don't think I'll ever open it. It's just, I never want to have to buy it again because I don't want to make them think that anybody's actually enjoying that product. But we'll see. Curious question. What kind of cocktail would you recommend the Wiggly in? Huh. You know, here's an interesting idea. Because of the amount of rye that you get right at the beginning, I would be interested to see this in a Sazerac. But that's about the only cocktail I could think to maybe put this in. I think this would actually probably improve with having like a single ice cube in it. Rye could go in a Manhattan, but this, I couldn't see doing this in a Manhattan. What are your thoughts on Jameson Black Barrel? How does it compare to regular Jameson? So actually my very first second episode was I did both Jameson and Jameson Black Barrel. Now here's the problem, is that they changed the Black Barrel. So right after my video, Wiggly and Coke, that actually would probably be fine. Actually, that's a great way to get rid of any whiskey that you don't really love. Hold on, sorry. All right, yeah, so the Black Barrel, they got rid of the old one. They have a new one. I've tried the new one. It's better than the old one in a slightly different way, but honestly, it was a little while ago and I don't remember the details, but I remember having that thought. So if you're on the fence about buying it, I would buy it. I thought that too. I wasn't ready to question you on that Real Clay F4AU. Geez, that's a tough one. Basically, a minute ago, he said you would put rye into a Manhattan, and I wasn't sure because I've only ever had Manhattans with bourbons in it, but I don't know for sure that nobody's ever done a rye in a Manhattan. But anyway, all right. Good night, Dad. He told me to make sure that I let him know when I get the Macallan 25. So anyway, yes, Sazerac is what uses rye. Now, I don't know any other cocktails that specifically use rye. Does anybody know anything like that? All right, so here's a question for you. I've now had Oak Cross and Wiggly Bridge. I have a few others, but should I do Crown Royal or Wiggly Pig? Your call, whatever you want. Food pairings with whiskey is a great idea. I've actually, all right, so I said Wiggly Pig. I'm sorry. Is it Wiggly Pig? Okay, everybody's telling me to do Wiggly Pig. I gotta take off my microphone for a sec, but give me 2 seconds. Be right back. Sorry for the static. I'm sure this is making. It sounds awful. All right. So I knew I was saying that wrong. It's Whistle Pig. I'm in. Whatever. Blame these two. All right. So here's some Whistle Pig. Now Whistle Pig is a straight rye. It's got. Oh, jeez. Thanks, guys. This is 113 proof. So, oh well. Might be cutting this stream short in a couple minutes here. We'll see. I'll be doing just the regular Crown Royal, like the one that you would think of. Comes in the little purple bag. Have I introduced my kids? All right, so I have got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and although the old crying thing might be a little bit better with the whiskey, you know, on the finger kind of thing, no, I have not. Although I will say I'm a little bit concerned because the other day, my 3-year-old said to me when she saw just a random, I think it was a Monster Energy drink commercial. And she pointed at the TV and she says, "Daddy, it's whiskey just like you like." Which made me very concerned and makes me happy that my dad already logged off the chat. So, oh man. Yeah, I'm a little ashamed of that one. TX Whiskey won the Best American Craft Whiskey and double gold winner in the 2013 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. All right. No, that's great. If I ever see it, I'll make sure to pick it up. There's a distillery. There is a shop near me called Julio's. They sell everything. And one of these days, I'm actually going to do, I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream or just record it, maybe get a friend to help me videotape, geez. I'm only 34. I shouldn't be saying videotape. Anyway, help me record a video while I'm in the store kind of talking about what to look for if you have no clue what you're buying. That's something that's coming up. Have you seen the Uber Monster? It's a brewed monster, comes in a glass bottle and all, tastes the same as the green can to me. You're talking about Monster Energy drink. I don't think I've had one of those since I was in college, which at this point was like a long time ago. Anyway, so this is Whistle Pig, as I was saying. I think that this is 100% rye, but let me just, don't mind me staring down at the bottle for a sec. Yeah, 100% rye. This was also a gift. Actually, it's funny. Most of the whiskeys that I review end up being gifts because, I mean, whiskey's a great gift to give people. Anyway, all right, so I've got a question for you. Does anybody out there have Whistle Pig? And because if so, I will wait until you pour yourself a dram. Black Velvet, okay. Next April 1st. Let me guess, Black Velvet is absolutely terrible. So somebody in the chat basically suggested that he says for Canadian whiskeys, because I was talking about it a minute ago, suggests that I try Black Velvet, which I've never even heard of, which is probably telling, but we'll see. All right, so it seems like it is, Black Velvet is a bad time. All right, now I've definitely got to have this. Speaking of which, first I'm going to take a sip, and then I've got another story. So, cheers. Oh, that's good. So this bottle is pretty expensive too, but so I go light on this one because I don't want to finish it before I end up doing a review on it, which this, as I said, this one's coming up soon, probably within the next 3 months. Anyway, this is a fantastic, fantastic rye, probably one of the best that I've ever tried. Anyway, so one thing I've been trying to get my hands on, and it's not easy because either they don't make them anywhere that you can buy. Sorry. They say Black Velvet tastes like a plastic bottle, so I'm actually kind of excited now. I think I might even do that before next April 1st. I was originally going to do Johnny Walker Red for April 1st, but it didn't end up panning out. Anyway, so I've been trying to find one of those whiskeys that has the snake in the bottle. That's something I've been trying to get my hands on for a long time. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think, if I didn't have a camera in my face, and like in a lot of ways I take this kind of as a challenge, if I didn't have the camera in my face, I don't think I would actually ever really try this stuff. But if I turned that camera on, I would almost certainly end up trying it. You guys have seen what I'm talking about before, right? Like well, I can't really do the post-editing here, but the outdoor, wait, hold on. Yeah, it definitely outdoes the worm in mezcal, but yes, well, so they have Cobra wine as well, but they call it snake whiskey actually, because apparently the entire point is the snake, so they don't even give a crap about the whiskey. But my understanding of how this works with very limited research, yes, it is Vietnamese. And have you tried it, Bryce? Anyway, so my understanding of how this works while he's responding is they take just new make, they don't age it in barrels, they kill a snake, I'm guessing, or maybe they just put the snake in there and let it drown, whatever, either way the snake dies. And they put the snake into, Bryce has apparently tried it, and apparently it's very horrible, which I couldn't imagine it not being. So they take the snake, they put it in the bottle, and they let the thing drown. And then they cap it, and that's it, it's a finished product. And the longer it sits, the darker it gets, because although the snake won't deteriorate fast because it's sitting in alcohol, it's basically preserved, it will still deteriorate a little bit. But when you look at these things, I would actually encourage you, if you're watching this stream, to Google snake whiskey. You'll see all kinds of stuff. They actually make all kinds of other ones too. They do scorpion whiskey and spider whiskey and snake whiskey. The spider whiskey seems a little rough, as well as scorpion, because both of those animals have hair, and I gotta think it falls off at some point. Infusing whiskey with the flavor of dead snake sounds like black velvet. Man. Ugh. I gotta say, there are a lot of countries that have a lot of really weird things that they call aphrodisiacs. I mean, if you think about rhino horn and like whatever. But Bryce was saying that the snake whiskey is an aphrodisiac. I can't possibly think of why. But anyway. So yeah, I've been dying to try some snake whiskey. So if you have any way of finding a way to get me a bottle, or like, I don't buy it for me, I'll happily buy it, but like if you can even find a way for me to buy it, let me know, because I will totally do that, and I'll do it next April. That would be awesome. So I've tried finding it online, and sorry, that's 113 proof. That's killer. Every website I've found that has it is like dead. Like they basically say they're sold out of everything. And thanks, Isaac. Nice to see you too. Whiskey dude, I like that. Although, whatever, I'll get into that. The snake whiskey, right? So the snake whiskey everywhere is sold out. And if you try to find it, if you try to go to any website, it will say that's sold out. So I got to think that there's some secret way to attain this stuff. Or maybe they just don't ship it. Maybe I need to go to Vietnam, which I'm not really psyched to do, but I don't know. I hear it's beautiful. So I don't know. Traveling isn't really a thing I do so much anymore since kids, but yeah, what are you going to do? Soon enough. Going to Vietnam is safer than Silk Road. Well, yeah. Duh. I think it's illegal to bring into the USA. Yeah, I think that's true. And I'm pretty sure that's why I can't order it. But somebody will always do whatever. And, I don't know. Unless I'm going to get arrested for drinking it on camera, which, I don't know. Whatever. So this Whistle Pig, I'm both happy and sad that you guys picked this over the Crown Royal, because I feel myself fading pretty fast. So I think I'm probably going to end this stream. Actually, I've gone 20 minutes longer than I planned. I planned on 30 minutes, but kind of figured I would do a little bit, breaking out the Woodford Reserve, nice. Figured I would do a little bit longer because I kind of had that little hiccup at the beginning. I think I kept people waiting about 15 minutes. Am I going to review Glenlivet 12? I'm absolutely going to review Glenlivet 12. I mentioned all the ones I was going to review earlier. That's one of them as well. That will be... Here's the problem. I don't have the time to really record more than one new whiskey every month. And then the second video that I do on the 15th, I tend to like to do informational ones because they tend to drive more traffic to the channel, and then the reviews help. The reviews are obviously more fun because of things like this, you know, and it's just more fun to drink. But the informational ones drive more traffic to the channel. So what I've been thinking about doing, and don't hold me to this yet because it's just an idea, I've been thinking about doing I've been keeping my release dates, as you guys probably have noticed, to the 1st and the 15th. And I'm thinking about the 1st being, sorry, hold on one sec. Ashton, you're awesome. Thank you very much. Been thinking about the 1st being a brand new distillery. So I can do my whole, like, you know, the distillery, the whiskey, nosing and tasting. And then having the 15th be an informational one. And then a 3rd video towards the end of the month, call it like maybe the 20th or the 22nd, somewhere in there, or maybe like the last Friday of the month or something like that, about one of an extra expression from a distillery I've already done. Because those tend to be way easier to film. Like, for example, when I do this Compass Box whiskey, I mean, today's what, the 21st? This is coming out on the 1st. I haven't even written the script for this yet because I'm not concerned about it. I could probably do the review right now. In general, like, it's just a little bit about the actual whiskey and some of the history. Like, if this particular bottle had something unique to it, which actually it does, and I probably will talk about that. But it doesn't take a whole lot of time to write that script and film that episode, probably an hour and a half between the two. So doing the brand new whiskeys is where a lot of my time goes. Like, writing a script for Crown Royal, which I'm going to do next, it's probably going to take me like 4 to 5 hours because that's a lot of research to start off with. This may sound immodest, but I like to think that my videos are fairly well researched before I talk about them because first off, it's the internet, and if I get anything wrong, people are gonna just destroy me. But secondly, like, why am I doing this channel if not to be accurate and try to make it informational? You know, I like to think that's why a lot of you people choose these videos rather than something else. You know, obviously my main competition, I would think, although he's got considerably more subscribers than me, is Ralphie, right? And Ralphie, when I gotta be honest, like, when I watch his videos, other than his accent, like, I don't really find him that entertaining. Maybe I'm missing something there, but like, I don't really enjoy watching his videos. I don't know, whatever. I've seen significantly more people that, other than just myself, who have entertaining channels, but don't have that accent. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. We should do a go-to-meeting or a Blue Jeans meeting and have a roundtable about whiskey, edited for profanity, of course. Oh, go-to-meeting. All right, like WebEx. That would be fun. I love Ralphie. He's so positive also, but you are very different from him. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would say this is a very different channel. So you do give more info, which is good. Thank you. All right. I certainly wasn't fishing for compliments there. I was just more trying to tell you what I'm trying to achieve versus what he does. But I'm actually really happy that you guys are enjoying these streams. I will definitely do more of these. I think that they're fun. And although my wife might not love the fact that I'm basically getting drunk and then, you know, gonna go bother her, but oh well. So man, let me tell you, some of these, oh, you'll love this. All right, so you guys watched me film my last episode, right? So I'm assuming that at least most of you probably watched that stream either live or later. It wasn't super long, but it is so hard to film the way that I do. Like, I have no cuts, as you guys see, like, or I shouldn't say no cuts, but I do a cut pretty much at the end of a segment. And it is really hard, as you just saw, I coughed when I drank this. I can't tell you how many of my segments have been killed like 2 minutes or 3 minutes into a segment. And, you know, I'll just be like, oh, blah, 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 the whiskey, whatever, taste it. And then, damn it, you know, and then I cut and then I try it again, which, little tip here. If you go back and watch I did the 3 bullet, bourbons, the bullet bourbon, bullet 10 year, and then the bullet rye. And I did all 3 of them in the same night. And if you You do that with that. Yeah, exactly. You just yell cut. I like that. Somebody says they do that without the camera. So anyway, if you watch those 3 videos at the same, like one in a row, you will absolutely notice me getting drunker as the videos progress. So I think it's a little difficult to do some of these videos sometimes, and on the nights where I'm really failing at recording, so like for real, I can do like 3 hours of recording sometimes for like a 5 to 10 minute video. But those are rough nights. Usually by the end of it, yeah, it's a labor of love. Absolutely. You know, it doesn't suck. You know, this is a fun hobby for sure. He says, you can tell how drunk I am by how many clothes I'm still wearing. Let me tell you, it's, what is it? Probably like, geez, it's 10 o'clock at night already. And I'm still wearing the clothes I wore to work, which I'm not psyched about because I want to be wearing, you know, something easier, something nicer. I have to wear a collar to work. So, poor connection, boo. Sorry about the distortion there. So I'm filming all this using my phone, obviously. Actually, no, the battery's fine. East Coast represent. Nice. Yeah, for sure. So I'm in Massachusetts, actually. So I feel like this entire video has been one tangent to another, and at some point I'm going to wrap back around, but I don't even remember where I started. So hold on. Let's should do the Vlog Brothers editing thing and just break your segments in pieces, then put everything together in post. Now Barry's got a good idea to meet in Kentucky, and I'll do a distillery tour. Now I'm a big fan of that idea. I actually went to Kentucky once, and it was awesome. Basically, it was exactly everything I hoped it would be, except I was like 19, I think. So the college I went to, it was half computer science and half aviation, which is a really weird concept. But so we were an extremely small school. There were a whiskey dick tour. I'm going to refrain from jokes that I might later regret, but whiskey dick tour. So my school was about 500 people. It was a college, and it was really small. So for a school of 500 people, we had an on-campus airport, which is really weird. Sorry, some of these, it's not the alcohol, it's the comments that are distracting me. They're making a lot of whiskey dick jokes. So, anyway, so the school had 500 people and an on-campus airport, which is kind of weird. But I got to go flying a lot and everything. So anyway, one of my buddies, his name is John, he lived in Kentucky. And in fact, that was his nickname for a very long time, just called him Kentucky. And we ended up going there for spring break one year. And, you know, there was promise of riding horses and all that stuff, which didn't end up happening, which wasn't a big deal, but we ended up going in Mammoth Caves, which was awesome. So if you're ever in Kentucky, I highly recommend it. It was like a 4-hour tour, and you're just underground the entire time. It was really crazy. But one thing I wish I would have been is 21, so I could have done a distillery tour. Man, that would have been awesome. So, yeah, so PC Shogun's been to, actually, you seem to have been everywhere, PC. I like that. So he's been to Mammoth Caves, but Mammoth Caves is awesome. So if you ever get the chance, by all means, go check it out. Let's see. So yeah, Kentucky was everything I expected. I shot a shotgun, blew open some milk jugs full of water. That was awesome. And I don't know, just in general, it was a fun time. So. All right. So as you can tell, my voice is starting to go. I didn't think to pour any water, but next time I absolutely will. So I'm approaching an hour. Actually, you know what? I'm at 59:46. So I'm gonna wait the extra 13 seconds and then cut it there. But thank you guys all for joining me tonight. This was actually really fun, and I'm looking forward to doing this again. I'll definitely do it at least once a month. I'll try to do it maybe twice. Probably not quite this long, but in general, this was really fun. Somebody's counting down the numbers. So anyway, this is really fun. Thank you all for joining, and I appreciate all the support and all the comments and likes and all that junk. But like those, as I've said, that's always the best way to support the channel. So if you guys are interested, join the Discord channel, which you can find the link in the description here. Other than that, you're already all subscribed, so thank you. And in general, keep an eye on the channel. You know, I'm really want to do more with this thing, and as I get more free time, as the kids get older and stuff, I will absolutely probably do like 3 to 4 videos a month, because they get easier and easier to film. I found a new way of actually editing that makes me go a lot faster, so that helps. But anyway, I'm gonna sign off so I have something to talk about next time. So what do I normally say? Have a great rest of your night. Cheers.